I believe that evolution of mobility is driven by aspiration, convenience, and efficiency.
Number one barrier for EV adoption today in India is the availability of charging infrastructure.
The way quantum computing is coming, any amount of security breach will also become easier as we move ahead.
From your Geo set-top box, you can start your MG vehicle.
I would not be surprised if by 2030, almost 80% customers would love to drive a true connected car.
We have to have products out in 18 months.
This is going to be a free-flowing discussion, and we're going to start straight off the bat because 50 minutes seems like a long time, but I'm sure we'll blast through it. So, Sudhir, if I can start with you. We've talked a lot about connected cars and all the stuff that goes on underneath the surface. Just your new cars are hyper connected. Just talk us through some of the features that people are using these days and what it takes to develop a car in today's hyper connected world.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. Like when MG came into India, the first car we launched was a true connected car, MG Hector. It was the most used features right now are the voice assistant. Like everyone loves to control the fan speed, the air conditioner, the moonlighting through voice, thereby driving safety as well. You no longer have to take your hand off a steering wheel to adjust the AC, I would say. There are other connected features which are available in most of the vehicles right now. I would not be surprised if by 2030, almost 80% customers would love to drive a true connected car. That there's lots of safety brings into the picture, the in-car experience. Now car is no longer just a vehicle where I want to go from a place A to place B. It's a truly in-car experience which a customer wants, and the connected car technology is something that brings that to the customer. So it becomes an overall driving and in-car experience rather than just a medium to reach to point A to point B.
Thanks, Sudhir. So many of you would have seen some of these new MGs on the road. There are some on display on the show floor as well. But I want to introduce you to Nilesh, who's the co-founder and CEO of Vayve Mobility. Nilesh, we just talked about all the comfort features that people want in their cars, and the market is trending towards SUVs and these really big feature-rich, resource-heavy vehicles. But you've developed something that is very unique and very, very interesting. So tell us what you've developed and how it fits into the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, so I think in your explanation of big feature-rich car, we retained the one half of it. We retained the feature-rich part. What we realized is that people do want a basic level of features, which has kind of become a basic hygiene. I want a connected car. I want to be able to take a call. I want music, navigation, all those things. I mean, I am myself surprised that I use Microsoft Teams in my car because that's now integrated in the Android Auto, and I use it fairly often to take a meeting call. So without compromising on the features, we said, can we right size urban mobility? And that's where the concept of EVA came from. So we are giving you an experience of a premium hatchback or a premium sedan, but in a form factor which is really optimized for city use and for one person going to office, doing the city drive. It is very efficient. You will love to drive it, easy to drive, easy to park, and sustainable. So it's your second car in the household, and it will be your first electric car. So that's our vision, that it is part of your household mobility mix. Now coming to the part how it fits into the equation. So as I'm saying, it's a second car in the household. Your expectations from it is same as your first car. You will not change your expectations. Say your primary family car is a MG Hector. When you sit in an EVA, you will expect same level of comfort, same level of features. So we want to give you the same level of experience when you step into an EVA like you have in your primary mover. So it is connected. It has all the all the frills that you expect in a modern car. But I would like to dive a little bit on the OEM side, that for us, it also means a lot more data that we get from the car about its performance, about its health, about its range, how we can improve it. Because as we have moved from ICE engine to electric vehicles, we have a lot more software inside the car that needs to be controlled, that needs to be updated at regular intervals. And what is visible to the customer is actually the smaller part of equation. What is happening in the background in terms of data and connectivity is actually a much larger, and Infineon being the one of the players helping us do that to bring connected cars on road, is that we are monitoring the car much more closely so that we can give a better overall experience.
Thank you. Girish, if we can come back to you for a second. So one point that you made during your presentation was that you spend years behind the scenes before these cars hit the road, or before these vehicles hit the road, to develop this technology. But the landscape is changing so quickly. How are you able to keep up with A, how the landscape is changing in terms of what OEMs want, and B, in terms of what consumers want? Because the whole ecosystem is changing so rapidly.
It is a big challenge, because earlier the life cycle or the development cycle for a microcontroller or a microprocessor was somewhere between 3 to 5 years. And today, if I have a product in 5 years, it's going to be antique. So our cycles are reducing, that we have to have products out in 18 months. And what we saw in terms of computing, right? If you saw Intel, the Moore's Law, similar things are also applying to a lot of our products. It's not just with more compute power or more reliability, but it's also different kinds of packages, different kinds of needs. For example, miniaturization is something very important. And if you look at node sizes today, earlier, when we all started with, studying college with the 8080 chip with 200, 300 nanometer technology, today in telecom, you start talking about 4 and 7 nanometer. So this is kind of exponentially changing and putting a lot of pressure. So what we are also realizing and what's also happening is earlier, the hit rate of successful products that we made was pretty high. But today that's also reducing, because what you encompass will happen in 5 years may not even be valid then. So these are challenges, and something that, working through. There's no perfect solution, and I think it's a struggle.
Thank you. Mr. Banerjee, just taking the lead from that point, because you represent an industry where the lead times are 7-8 years in terms of development times to bring these vehicles to market. Now it's changing so rapidly, and you have the propulsion systems also changing so rapidly. So you have many of your members who are pushing hybrid technology, many who are working very aggressively on EVs. ICE is still obviously a very big component. How do you manage all of these different voices and speak as a unified voice for the industry? Because it's a very challenging position that you're in.
Thank you, Dhruv. First of all, I must compliment and congratulate you for putting up such a wonderful show here.
Thank you.
This is my first time in this exhibition, and I am very proud that what you have delivered led to this. Today's discussion, whether your vehicle is connected or electric, and the question you are raising, I believe that evolution of mobility is driven by aspiration, convenience, and efficiency. So aspiration, even the civilization has evolved with aspiration being the central theme, and same is the mobility. And when we look at, when we aspire, the country was looking at, opening up of the economy, that time the aspiration was to have a four-wheeler. But then the second aspiration moved from aspiration to convenience. Then we started thinking that how convenient is do you have a power window? Do you have a reclining seat? Do you have a, comfortable, dashboard, steering? Do you have a, adjustable seat? So convenience was the second driver. Then came the efficiency. Now every time when you deliver a product, efficiency in terms of delivery of product, turnaround time, efficiency in terms of the cost of ownership, TCO, etc. But come the advent of this electronics and connectivity in terms of mobile connectivity, people started thinking that how the powertrain is moving to a more intelligent way. So we started having first MPFI, then you have a ECU controlled engines. So if you look at commercial vehicle, they change in BS4 only to ECU based. But if you look at passenger vehicle in 1995, when the first MPFI vehicle came in CLO from Daewoo, and before that there was Opel Astra with the turbocharged. So gradually the electrification started happening. And as Girish presented, now you have so many ECUs, and that ECU needs to be combined together in a manner that it gets you the smartness. And then people started thinking that safety is given, the vehicle performance is given, quality is given. That's forget. Is your vehicle connected? Am I able to remain connected to the rest of the world while I am driving? So that's where the connected feature has come in. And now, as MG has delivered, Hyundai, I bought Tucson, I think in 2020, and then the Blue Link concept came. Initially, I thought that what is this Blue Link is all about. But later on, I was told that even if you are abroad, you are able to see the condition of your vehicle, what is happening to your vehicle, is the vehicle fine or not fine. So the importance of connectivity in our life is given. The moment you don't have a phone for 5 minutes near you, you start feeling uncomfortable. So that's the kind of power of connectivity. So I believe that mobility industry is transforming, not only in terms of what emissions related challenges or energy security related challenges or global warming or international commitment or GHG related challenges are bringing it in terms of lightweighting, design changes, powertrain changes, and moving towards hydrogen from electrification. That's given. But more important is connectivity. And connectivity is, of course, you know how important it is, both in terms of convenience, but also in terms of a day-to-day life functioning, in terms of bank transactions, in terms of connecting with your near and dear ones and doing the things on the move. So I believe that time has come when I think the vehicle mobility will evolve in terms of connectivity, feature basis, purchase decision making, rather than other aspects of performance or maybe convenience and other things. So that's where I would like to stop, and then we'll discuss further.
Thank you. So Brijesh, you lead the new vehicle strategy. The Creta EV is here on display. One of the things that's holding back EV penetration is charging infrastructure and the ease of use. So how as an OEM can you overcome those challenges?
So thank you, Dhruv, and very good afternoon, everyone. So when we talk about EV adoption, you're right. Number one barrier for EV adoption today in India is the availability of charging infrastructure, right? On the other hand, when we see the data today, 95% of our customers and also more than 90% in the industry do charge vehicles using home chargers, right? So again, there is a bit of a challenge when it comes to long distance commute, right? And that's one of the areas that we are trying to address because today you talk about products, you talk about range, you talk about features, more or less same what we discussed. But our philosophy has been how to create that value for the customer. And when the Creta EV was going to be launched, and we had a huge responsibility with the Creta legacy. So we had to live up to the legacy. And we said, look, the product is going to be good. We know that, we are going to build it with features, what customers need. By the way, all our electric vehicles are connected. So there's no question of electric or connected. All are connected. And then the first topic that we wanted to address well before the Creta electric launch was the availability of charging infra. And today, if you visit our booth, you will see that we have partnered with so many in the industry, and we have over 11,000 charging points on the My Hyundai app, and then you can conveniently locate, book, navigate, and all you need for EV charging, right? And then we are the only OEM now. We are building high-speed charging network across India, right? And why do we do that? Because we believe that customers who are not able to charge at home, right? Not everybody is able to charge. Not everybody gets approval, living in a society. They need to have access. So what we are doing is we are electrifying cities and highways, and we are connecting all of them with high-speed charging infrastructure, right? I think that is one thing that will ensure that there is kind of comfort in the mind, and then there is more EV adoption as we speak. And since we're talking about connectivity as well, see, today it is inevitable, right? See, we need to know how the battery is being charged. We need to understand the battery performance. We talk about predictive maintenance, right? So connectivity, can it help you to detect a failure before it happens, right? So that is the beauty of connected cars, what we use and what we have already implemented. So you get these proactive notifications and you're able to act and so on, and very much required for the electric vehicle as well, so that you don't have a flat vehicle or a flat battery and so on. So clearly, I believe, that the industry will grow. We've seen a lot of new launches this year and more to come. And I believe that this is going to continue, and charging infrastructure will also catch up and will become an important factor for EV adoption.
Thank you. Sudhir, coming back to you, I had a very interesting discussion yesterday with somebody who was here from Geo Platforms. I believe they're a partner of MG. And this gentleman was saying that from your Geo set-top box, you can start your MG vehicle. So I'm very intrigued that, one aspect is the utility of knowing if there's a fault in your vehicle before you get into it, and that's useful information. But how are people using these connectivity features? Are they using it more from a utility standpoint and a practicality standpoint, or do people actually go into their set-top boxes and start their vehicles?
Yeah, so recently when we launched Windsor in India last year, we had partnered with the Geo connectivity platform. So as a part of that, we launched a service which called as Home to Car. So basically, while watching TV, I can just say that, hey, what's the SOC level of my car? And it will show you the vehicle SOC level, how much kilometers you drive. In addition to that, through voice, I can book a service as well for my Windsor. So these are the features which actually help the customers in the current times, as to while sitting on the couch watching a television. If you remember, I need to book a service of my car, I can do it right away. It's basically, like I said, it's an overall ownership experience which needs to be built, not just driving the car or owning a car. So that's where we have partnered with Geo for all the connectivity features, the voice assistants, the music app on the infotainment, and like he mentioned that the predictive maintenance. I think that is one of the key feature which would be defining before something happening, you identify and alert the customer, hey, your battery is going to be down, I think you should get it checked. I think that's the sort of benefits the customers would get due to this connected features being introduced by the OEMs.
Thank you. Nilesh, in your last answer, I think you were very modest. I think people should know that Nilesh has developed a car from ground up. So can you just walk us through that process? Because there seems to be nothing more daunting in today's date than developing a car from ground up. Where do you start, and where have you gotten to now?
Yeah, in retrospect, sometimes I feel that I didn't know how much it'll take. So I think that was a good thing, that we didn't know the extent of work that will need to go into this to develop a car, and that kept us very hopeful that we'll do it. It has been almost earlier this year when we showcased EVA here, it was 6 years since we had the first concept sketch of EVA. So that was in 2019. And we have been working on it almost since 4.5 years. We have been working full time on this. So when you don't have any legacy, any platform, any carryover components, it's actually really good, because there is nothing holding us back than reimagining what mobility should be. So we started with a clean slate, a clean sheet of paper, and we said there is an industry which is getting disrupted after a century. How will mobility look once this transition is over from ICE to electric? And when I say electric, I'm not talking about battery electric, I'm saying electric. The engine getting replaced by a motor, because fundamentally it is more efficient. That is what we understand when we say electric. Battery is just, as of today, it's the most convenient way of storing energy. And the way cars look today, a petrol or a diesel car looks a certain way, is because of the way you have to package the components. So we said all those fundamentals are going to change. So we started from that. One thing, or I think the approach that we have as a team is very counterintuitive. We don't think that we can build anything first time right. We are a team, we say, we iterate. We make fast changes, we make a lot of prototypes, we scrap them, we make more of them, and we learn iteratively. So we have built tens of prototypes of each of the vehicle that we have shown to the people. What you see in EVA is the 5th generation design already, which was shown to the people. And we also did one more thing, is we wanted to integrate the core powertrain technologies. So we spent a large part of our past 4 years creating the powertrain stack, which is the battery, BMS, motor controller, VCU, and the thermal management system, because that is the heart of electric vehicle. So in terms of quantum of work, we started with a completely new platform, completely new design, and a completely new category of vehicle. So even that was new, because making a car is only 30% of the problem, 70% is actually selling it. So that also required a lot of learning, lot of interaction with potential customers, market surveys about a category that does not exist. And the biggest challenge is to build a team from scratch, because it takes a village to build a car. So I think that again has been a big journey. We are now a 30 people team. So just a brief of how we reached so far. Just adding to one point on Mr. Sudhir's answer regarding the predictive maintenance, because that is a very interesting point. And in the connected car, it's very important that predictive maintenance changes the way we use cars, because we will not talk about periodic service after few years. It will all become, if anything is going to happen, your car will tell you what's going to happen and what you need to do in advance. I think that will be one of the major changes in the way customer thinks of vehicle reliability and vehicle performance. Again, with AI and ML versus the heuristic sensors that we have today, a lot more can be done in terms of that. So very interesting field.
Thank you. Girish, I want to ask you about one of the other things that you pointed out in your presentation. You showed that the trend is moving towards zone-based ECUs. Now, I wonder if that's for computing power or reliability or both, because a few years ago, I was in a car which will remain unnamed, but it just, while driving down the road, it just died. And I'm an old car guy, so I got a rubberized hammer and I got underneath the fuel tank and I started hammering it, hoping that if it was a fuel pump that had died, I could sort of hammer it back to life to get me to my destination. It was not, it was a DME. So it was the centralized ECU, which meant that there was no way I was getting out of there other than in a tow truck. So there's so much technology and so many electronics going into these cars, millions of lines of code, dozens of ECUs. How do you, as a provider to the industry and then for the OEMs as well, how do you ensure reliability when you have so many electronics and features packed into these cars today?
Dhruv, I think it's a very, very good question, because you talked about lines of code, right? The number of lines of code in an electric vehicle today is much more than what is in a Boeing plane. So, you look at something that's up in the air versus what's on the ground. So the lines of code that's written for this is much more. So in terms of reliability, what you talked about, right? This transition also comes with challenges, because if you take the old architecture, the domain architecture to zone to the central compute, a lot of redundancies have to be built in. And definitely not the experience that you had where if the central compute shuts down, that everything, it has to be towed. Because, towing is not an option in all scenarios. So what it is a lot of redundancies are built in. And today, if you look at all the components that are used, mainly what we have been doing is companies like us and our competition, we believe in no longer with, quality. Basically, we want to focus on what are called zero defect. So any part that actually is delivered to our customers should have zero defect. And today, it's no longer PPMs. It's all parts per billion or incidents per billion, not even parts. So this is the category to which they are actually defined. And also very much, right, there are different standards, be it JTEC or AECQ or any of these. So most of the products are now tested 3x to 10x times what these requirements are to drive reliability. Now the problem again is not with the components, but also because the reason to go to these is reduce the number of mechanical components, also reduce the amount of harness in the vehicles, harness, connectors, because these are things that can go wrong, especially looking at our roads as well as the environment. These are challenges. So you could probably have the latest technology, but if what's connecting them. So what's also changing, and I think definitely Nilesh will also show us, is going to wireless. All of these ECUs are talking wireless. No longer you need, kilometers of cables in the car. So this is what we are seeing that is transitioning today.
Can I add something to this? So, I'm just adding to what you said that I think reliability also comes from the fact that as there are so much code involved now in the cars, the idea is to take standard components of that code, create it into a hardware module, and I think integrate in your standard chip. So what is happening is, for something, there used to be a standard controller and we used to write a lot of code. Now they are taking parts of that code that is used again and again, making it as a module and integrating all of that in a single ASIC or a single package. So that's making our life very easy. So earlier what used to be 4 chips, one AFE, one fuel gauge, one basic thermal management system, and the 4 chips are now coming in a single package. So for us, PCB design becomes simpler, validation becomes simpler, code coverage becomes simpler, AutoSAR or similar compliances become very simple. So I think that's the benefit we get from moving to a hardware-based thing from a software-based thing to a hardware-based solution. That we know that system will work no matter what, because that's happening in parallel. It has its own semiconductor on which that code is running, and that's, I think, is a very big change that's happening. So when he says they are making more products, we are very excited because we see new products which is making our life simpler every day, and moving from wired to wireless and things so on will improve the reliability of product by a huge margin. But as again, still we are in a very nascent stage. So I think in few years down the line, we will have much better reliability than any ICE or EV product we have seen so far. I think that's just a natural maturity cycle.
Mr. Banerjee, we've talked a lot about a lot of these technologies, and Girish in his presentation also pointed out ADAS, emergency braking, lane departure. I was at an R&D center of an OEM recently, and I was seeing some of their autonomous driving technology, and the software on which it was running was nice, clean roads with defined lines and lane markers. And I asked them, where are the cows and the rickshaws and the whatever? So how do we develop this technology for our conditions? Because our conditions are so unique in the global scheme.
I think, Dhruv, it's a very, very pertinent question in Indian context. We represent in United Nations. I am for the last 23 years going to UN as part of the harmonization of standards activities and vehicular safety. That's called Group on Road Safety, GRSG of WP29. So there we come across this kind of uniqueness of Indian context. So if you look at the level 0 to level 5 automation, and if you look at the activities which is happening with regards to AEBS, for example, ADAS features. So we have 3 sets of challenges. One, the uniqueness of the traffic patterns and indiscipline on road is one. Second, the deficiency of infrastructure. So you don't have a very defined lane. So you cannot talk about lane departure warning system. You can't talk about lane keep assist systems. When it comes to collision avoidance braking systems, then your traffic is such that every time all those high-end vehicles which are having today the collision avoidance braking systems, automatic activation, they actually deactivate it because it becomes a kind of nuisance. So we are currently with the help of all the technology experts. So we have, for example, Intel, Google, I think Infineon is here, Bosch is there, and also OEMs. So we have hundreds and millions of kilometers of running and test cases being generated where using the lidar, radars, those situations is being created, where we will have a very complex algorithm to handle in this scenario. So we have to actually have a capturing of auto rickshaws, two-wheelers, maybe dog, maybe cows, maybe buffaloes, sometimes you have a goat. So this kind of scenario is actually being mapped. And then perhaps carefully we have to make sure, without compromising the safety, adoption of these technologies with little bit of tweaking. So in India, we have under Ministry of Road Transport, we have an Automotive Industry Standard Committee, and within the committee we have created some specific groups, and they are working on these specific interventions. Data have been collected. Based on that, if the distance requirements has to be changed from the international standard, if the acceleration deceleration criteria has to be changed, if some of the extra safety features needs to be avoided. So these things are being taken into account, and that's the reason we are consciously taking a call of having little bit deferred date of implementation of such technology in Indian context until we prove it, until we test it for our kind of scenario. We will not copy paste, which earlier we used to do. So currently lot of data is being collected in ARAI. Huge amount of investment Government of India has done for ADAS related facility development. A unique ADAS facility is being created, and multiple exercises happening to take care of each aspect of ADAS feature introduction in our vehicle. So Government of India is cognizant of the need, and we are also aware that what level of automation we have to go at what phase. So there is a clear roadmap defined, and accordingly we are working.
Thank you. Brijesh, if we can, your new vehicles, they're so packed with technology, right? So as an OEM, how do you approach the development process? Because like we've talked about, I mean, it changes so rapidly that by the time you've developed something, it's almost gotten to a point of obsolescence. So how do you develop, even whether it's software, in an environment like that?
So absolutely, that's a challenge that we face in terms of the the evolution of new technology and adoption of new technology. See, what I want to highlight is that we are in the transformation phase where we are transforming into a software-defined vehicle, right? And we talked about all the challenges that we face in terms of technology, ADAS, and in terms of implementation from the Indian context, right? So that is the future. That is the ultimate goal that we are all working towards. And as an OEM, one thing we have realized is the heart of the software-defined vehicle is connectivity, right? And today, let me tell you, in our Ioniq 5, we have 1,500 sensors that send the signal back to our cloud infrastructure, right? So we have so much of data, and we collect this data every single second, right? So we are learning how the product is performing. On the other hand, we are also learning about the usage patterns. See, one thing I want to highlight to all of you is we can make it feature rich, but does the customer value that? And who's going to pay for it? See, let's take an example of connected cars, right? It's free for first 3 years, and somebody might offer it for another additional year, right? You have so much of cost, running cost, SIM cost, data cost, and does the customer actually need it, right? So as an OEM, we are always thinking how to optimize the cost, how to add value, and how to pass on that benefit back to the customer. So can I use the data from the connected car? Can I analyze, and can I offer some insights to the customer? Like, for example, can I help him improve his driving behavior, for example, right? So we are clearly looking at the ecosystem. It is not only adding features, but it is also the acceptance. It is also about fine-tuning these features, and clearly data is the center of every decision that we take. And the ultimate goal being the software-defined vehicle. if we need to do anything different now based on the customer need, then what we need to do is to have the connectivity, and then we are able to do that remotely for the customer, right? So that becomes very important for us to create that value proposition for a customer so that he is willing to take connectivity subscription even after it expires, right? So what I want to summarize it clearly, it is not about features, it is about adding value to the customers. It is about analyzing the data and adding new insights, providing new insights to the customer. And lastly, in the end, it is a vehicle. It is very personal in India, and most of us, see that as one-time investment, and safety plays a very important role. So what we have to see in the Indian context is how can this car be a safe car for the consumer, right? And how can technology enable that, right? So all of these factors is what we consider from the Indian context. See, today, if I have to give you one instance, right? For example, if there is an accident, God forbid, but if there is an accident, can there be emergency response deployed to the site? And how can connectivity add to that, right? So OEMs like us are thinking on those lines, basically from a customer value proposition, and then developing into future, but with the ultimate goal of being a software-defined vehicle.
So Sudhir, one of the elements of a software-defined vehicle is data collection. So two things. I mean, we've talked a little bit about AI, and over the course of the last 2 days on this platform, there's a lot of discussion about AI. Nilesh mentioned AI and ML in the context of further developing some of these technologies. So two questions. One is, where does that AI and ML feature? And secondly, how important is data security in this whole ecosystem?
So Dhruv, you touched a very good point when it comes to data security, and it's one of my favorite topic. Like Nilesh mentioned, Brijesh touched upon the point that a connected car, it generates 25 GB worth of data every single day. So using that data, value can be generated. There's lots of talks about data democratization. Like everyone needs to have access to the data, but we all know with the democracy requires lot of policing. So that's where having strong data governance framework defined is of utmost importance. With the DPDPA law coming in, with the cybersecurity laws which are draft available and which will be coming out, the entire ecosystem of security being developed, not just from the vehicle perspective. In addition to that, the cybersecurity of the entire ecosystem that goes with a connected vehicle will be of utmost paramount, and it should be integrated to the overall cybersecurity goal of the organization. You cannot have a vehicle cybersecurity and then standard cybersecurity as two different verticals. It has to be driven from an organization as a single cybersecurity goal. Now, when it comes to data governance, data is new oil. We can generate value out of data. Data can be used to give the predictive maintenance alerts. There are talks about monetizing that data, but without a good governance, it is very easy to start a data inferno. And no organization in a given point of time would want to start that data inferno because of the privacy laws that are coming into the picture. So having a strong data governance framework, how the data is collected, why the data is collected, I think that's of utmost criticality, and every OEM are taking actions to make sure that it is there. And we at MG, we take it as seriously as anyone else. And with the laws coming into it, it's of great criticality.
Thank you.
So just to add to what Sudhir said, we talked about artificial intelligence, right? And that is a very integral part as we transform into a software-defined vehicle. See, India is so diverse. We have so many languages. For example, we have English, right? We have 8 languages in our connected car in Hyundai, right? So today, and Mr. Banerjee spoke about, can you identify a buffalo? Can you identify this scenario, right? So artificial intelligence plays so important that the machine is continuously learning and adapting from the Indian context. See, if I say hello blue link, open sunscreen, right? But I can do that in Hindi. I can not say it, right? So what we have done is we have made that as an integral part. I think it is inevitable for any organization. From 2019, we have been using artificial intelligence in our connected cars, and we have learned, we have evolved, and we have always fine-tuned from the Indian context. So I just wanted to add, in terms of diversity, the next thing I wanted to add is, see, from a data today, it gives you a lot of insights. So we are transforming into a data-driven company. Can a connected car tell you where your customers would like to visit and buy a car, right? Because you're having enormous amounts of data, like Sudhir was saying, 20 GB of data. So this is so precious data. This is coming into the organization, and this provides insights not only in the technology area. So, we heard Girish talk about, technology, but in the traditional business, can this data provide insights into your day-to-day operations, right? So I just wanted to leave that thought with the audience. And I want to say that data is not necessary that we provide insights back to the connected car, but it can help us make decisions in your traditional business. That's what we do at Hyundai as well.
So just to add to what Brijesh mentioned about the data which we collect from the car, then also can go into the future product developments. So that's another place where the data combined with AI ML will come into act. That future model developments or future vehicle developments will learn from the existing models and the data collected out of the existing models. So that's why AI ML, not just from the in-car experience, it will also be useful for OEMs to develop their future products, to develop the maintenance of the car, the maintenance packages of the car. So that AI ML has a broader application rather than just the in-car experience, like a voice assistant. The standard voice assistants which comes with the vehicle, okay, open sunroof, increase temperature, decrease temperature, you just add an AI element to the conversational AI element to it, and that changes the experience which you have while interacting with the car. Now you add the visual AI to it. You are driving, just a use case, you are driving the car on a highway, you miss a billboard, you just say that, hey MG, what was that billboard that just went past? The AI in the car tells you that, okay, that was a billboard about a sale coming into the place. There would be 50% discount at this place. And you can just talk back to the car saying that, okay, route me to that particular place, I want to go and visit. And you just, the navigation just changes to that place. Or you can find out that's the benefits which the AI will bring into the picture when the way you drive the car and the way you experience the car.
Nilesh, from the point of view of developing a new car and data security, how difficult is it to meet the compliance?
So, because we already come from a background, so prior to working with Wayve Mobility and creating this company, I have worked in my previous company where we were creating IoT communication products, networking backhaul products. Sorry. So in a way, we are very used to the data security and privacy laws, and the same thing has to be brought in. But the expectation of performance is very high, because earlier it used to be a system which can work or fail if something happens incorrectly. But today I'm talking about a car which can drive at a high speed, which has ADAS functions, which has drive-by-wire actuators. So if somebody wants to do real damage, if the data security is breached, they can actually create a bigger challenge. So there are two parts of it. One is definitely the privacy part. Do we want anybody to know that what is happening with this particular device or node? So you need a very strong anonymization when you are using this data on an organizational level to develop your future products. And second is definitely the security, which has to be very strong. There cannot be any loose ends, because you have a device on which you also have third-party apps running nowadays. You have multiple attack vectors on a single device. So you need to make sure that you cover all the possible entrances, because with the way quantum computing is coming, any amount of security breach will also become easier as we move ahead. So I think it is a continuous problem that we'll have to keep evolving as the challenge keeps mounting together.
Girish, as a supplier to the industry, how, in terms of what OEMs are asking you for, where does that sit on the priority list?
I think cybersecurity is really on top today, because what was before was mainly software controlled, and what we see that amount of encryption you can do just with software is very limited. So what it started was standalone cybersecurity devices, but what we are seeing now is that's not good enough. It's not what is just connecting to the outside environment, but what we are also doing now is a lot of these cybersecurity features are embedded into the processing devices, into the microcontrollers or into the SoCs or the microprocessors. So it's to that level, and multiple levels of redundancies. For example, if you have a gateway, there is one talking to the external environment, but also very importantly, within the LAN or the CAN network in a vehicle, there is a lot of cyber security that's actually built in, so which is, I think, very critical. So it's getting to multiple levels, and definitely companies are still playing catch up to what's really happening out there in the market. So we would love to be ahead of the game, but definitely something that's a challenge for us to do.
Mr. Banerjee, as an industry body, and if I can ask you also as concluding remarks, since we're out of time, but how difficult is it for you to manage something that is so dynamic and changing so rapidly?
No, I think this data and safety and security, these are the two very important aspects. One is functional safety. When you talk about the ISO 26262 compliance, that voluntary, actually Hyundai started way back. There was no mandatory compliance even as today. And most of the companies are struggling that existing platforms which do not have the architecture suitable to actually ensure this level of safety and security what we intend to achieve. So everyone tries to start and see an opportunity when a fresh platform is created. And at that level, whatever is the knowledge, whatever is the intelligence is available, based on that you define your architecture, and safety and security aspect is covered, and then the next level of migration happens. So this journey is very continuous journey, and in this journey the cost of development and cost of assurance is very high. So that's where actually the challenge is, that at what pace we can migrate and where we have to make focus, because even the country's law, for example, today if you look at the data collection, data storage, data dissemination, so there are two parts. One is commercial, the other one is private. So privacy law has to be also taken into account. So today, for example, a very simple example, post Nirbhaya, this emergency button has been provided in AIS 140, and when you press that button, and it is supposed to actually get activated through the home department of that respective location, and some emergency response mechanism should start working. But because the entire structure is not yet possible to be integrated seamlessly across the country, the simple feature of this kind of identifying a vehicle and response mechanism creation is a challenge. So one set of activities which OEMs are doing at that level with their wisdom, with their whatever wherewithal, but the second level of support has to come from the country's law. So now the parliament has passed this data law. Based on data law, then we have to have a concomitant regulations and rules getting formed up. And then once this framework is available in the form of regulations, then the OEMs will be able to handle this data related overall system. But if you look at what UN is doing, UN has a very clear looking at this autonomous vehicle has a data need. There is a data management cluster for working group, and they are defining that. And in Niti Aayog now we are having an interministerial discussion that how we can handle this data in a manner which is not inconvenient to customer. But coming to the point what he was highlighting, in India, it's a startling fact that people are not renewing their insurance. So when they are not renewing the insurance, when the accident happens, the victim is left without any third party coverage. So Supreme Court has come up with a mandate that any two-wheeler which is sold must have 5 years insurance. So in a country where insurance is not being taken, we are expecting that he will pay for the subscription. My Blue Link subscription has expired. I am not renewing it because I am just trying to understand that why should I renew it? What is it that I am gaining extra? So these are the very fundamental questions customer will ask for. So it's a very interesting development, but with the passage of data assurance coming from OEM side at a reasonable price, perhaps the customer will start jumping on it, and you will have a transformation in this journey. So in my view, is your vehicle connected? Yes. Is your vehicle electrified? Yes, because electrification is a given. Now whether it's a hybrid or it's a electric, it's a time to see.
But that's a very interesting point to end on, because at the end of the day, the customer is king. So the industry and everyone can develop as much technology as is possible, but unless the customer is willing to pay for it, it really doesn't have much of a future. But thank you, gentlemen, for a very, very interesting discussion. I think we just scratched the surface of a few things, and we could have delved much deeper, and there are so many topics that we didn't even get to. But thank you very, very much for a very engaging discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Behl, for conducting the session so well. Yes, we all remain extremely intrigued. The session has actually been very gripping, very absorbing, and to a certain extent, I felt that it was almost defining the future. So thank you so much for an interesting session. Definitely, we are smart moving. Once again, a huge round of applause for our panelists. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank them for bringing in such pertinent points from the industry. And on behalf of Exhibition India Groups, we would like to present mementos to our panelists. And may I request Mr. Dhruv Behl to kindly present the mementos. We would like to present a memento to Mr. Brijesh. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. A big thank you to Mr. Prashant K. Banerjee. Thank you so much, sir, for bringing in so much experiential knowledge and sharing it with us. Thank you once again, Mr. Banerjee. We now thank Mr. Girish Kamala. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Kamala, for sharing your valuable thoughts with us. A big thank you to Mr. Nilesh. Thank you so much, Mr. Bajaj, for sharing your thoughts with us. And we now thank Mr. Kataria. Thank you so much, Mr. Kataria, for your time and most importantly, your thoughts that you shared with us. May I request all the panelists to kindly step forward for a group photograph. We quickly take this moment to capture this in our lenses and, of course, in our memories.